Hello, I'm Randy Dirlam, General Manager of Atlas Copco Comptec. We're located in Voorheesville, New York, and we make integrally geared centrifugal compressors. Stephen Covey wrote a book, the 7 Habits of Effective People, right? And so when I go back, 1990, I started at Mafi Trench. That book was released '89. And I read it right away. And I saw one of the most profound things I still practice today. He talked about something called circle of influence versus circle of interest. And circle of influence is, what can I do here now and make a difference? Versus thinking about bigger things that I really have no agency to influence, like world hunger. Circle of interest. Yeah, I'm concerned about people that are hungry. But so as a learning, growing employee, starting to realize, what do I have agency over? What can I influence? What can I do that matters now, here and now in the company? And that has propelled me for 34 years. To recognize the value of resilience and do a lot more work there. I think I have found in my career that it's resilience that helps you rebound, recover, reframe, reset what comes at you. And the more you dig that deep well, the more you have to handle the next one. And so I encourage people today that I work with, hey, stop, think, dig that well, because it will pay off in the future. And I wish my future self would have told my beginning self, dig deeper earlier and be more prepared for stuff that you can't control. Definitely evolved, definitely unexpected. The common theme for me, I had a appetite to get better. And that meant I was willing to do different things. I was willing to try different things. I'm a career learner. I read, I study. Podcasts were the greatest gift for people who don't have time to read. And I have always pursued getting better. So when you have that as your driver, then opportunity shows up. And eventually I did see that general manager was a role I wanted, but it certainly wasn't in sight in the beginning, for sure. I came from the old school of you become master of something, and it might take you 20 years. Since then, I've changed my view that it's not necessary to actually master it to that level, and you can move on and gain more from diversity than just mastery of one. And that's not true for everybody, certainly true for me. That's why I feel like my growth could have been broader and more enriching maybe if I had ventured away from what I knew and knew well. What's next? I'm here until I decide I want to retire. So that would be my next. But while I'm here, I'll say there's 2 really exciting things. One is the opportunity to see people grow and change. I heavily invest in my staff to watch them develop, and I push them to be greater leaders than they've been. And in doing so, that's one of the greatest thrills I get, is to see people grow, to actually change and watch them mature and develop. I had mentors when I was in my career building, and I'm dedicated to that as well, to the people that I work closely with. When it comes to the company, it's retooling for the next 20 years plus. We can't go back. We have to bravely move forward. And I use that word on purpose. It takes courage to say, hey, we have to get better. We have to move forward. And that means we have to retool. We have to rethink. And sometimes that's awkward, can be even scary. But that's my commitment, and I'm excited for it. And I love to see people kind of join that movement and get away from their fears or their concerns and just go all in on making this place great. manage your brand. Your brand is what people think of you, what they ascribe, what skills do you have, what energy do you bring, what is your contribution, that's your brand. And manage it voraciously. Do not let others define your brand. So when I look into my own career, I told you I volunteered for everything. I let my work speak for itself in as many locations, platforms, places, in front of as many different people that I could. And I allowed my brand to establish itself as someone who's reliable, trustworthy, does what he says, and follows through, and even at a level of excellence that maybe was not planned for. It reminds me, years ago, I was a young engineer, and we were trying to explain certain critical areas of technology about the turbo expanders. All we had were these clear acetate sheets of 2D drawings, or they were converted to 35 millimeter slides that I put into a carousel and carried under my arm into companies to present turbo expanders. And right then was when PowerPoint first came out. We're somewhere in the mid-90s, and no one knew how to use it in the company. I jumped in, figured out how to use it, and asked my boss, can I create the first digital presentation, Turbo Expanders 101? And I did. And some of those slides are still used, sadly, today, because it was transforming a way of communication to something brand new. And I didn't know how to do it when I started, but when we were done, we had the essence of something in a new technology format. Now, today, you're all rolling your eyes that, really, PowerPoint's new? It was back then. And I just look for this idea of, when I say build your brand, find ways to take new technology and drive us forward. That's super important to me in terms of career and choices. So my biggest takeaway from my own life has been, it's so much better to trust others and let them do more than you could do. And that's a life lesson, because at first we have egos and we want to be in control and we want to have credit and but at some point, if you're going to make a big difference in your life, it's recognizing the power of others and empowering people and giving them mission, vision, motivation, and then get out of their way and watch them do it better than you were ever going to do, and trust that process. And I think that's really, for me, my career and what I've learned and what I hopefully have shared with others. And that's really where I spend a lot of my time, in helping others help others, because that's when we really get to the big movement, the big change, the really long-term, meaningful success that we're all aiming for. And so breathing is part of it. So you want to breathe with me?
Teach me how to breathe.
Go for it. I'm ready.
Okay, so yeah, I mentioned I breathe.
Yeah.
And there's so many different ways. In fact, they call it pranayama, right? This practice of breath and the study of breath. We're not going to do them all. There's
Okay.
a very simple centering one.
Okay.
And we'll do two versions of it. One, and you breathe through your nose. We're not going to use our mouth, just inhale and exhale. But it's really simple, and it's just be comfortable, relax,
Okay.
don't cross your legs, relax, and just simply relax your shoulders. And then you just breathe in, count to 4 quietly in your head, and exhale.